Anyway, so tablature just says these things occurred in this order. So any lesson you ever took where there wasn't some accompanying audio, video aspect, even no matter how familiar with the song you are, probably seemed like you didn't have all the info. So here we are, and we talked about a whole bunch of different things. The only essential concept that I want to imply in all of everything we're doing today is that the process you're using is really getting good at comfortable with the thing you're doing and then advancing. And our goal is to find small enough subsections where you can actually do that and, constructing the skill set that you need to play the whole song, like learning the rhythms before we even try to do left-hand changes. And we talked about, memorization headspace versus playing headspace. And, so when you're in the first, I'm showing myself what I'm going to be doing, think of it like a grocery list, or like you're learning the dance steps. You don't have to play in rhythm. In fact, I don't want you to play in rhythm. Just, I'm showing myself what I'm going to be doing when I actually move on to dancing, never crossing the streams. Cool, so the very first thing we're going to do is our rhythm stuff, where you're going to initially do it just on one single chord, and let's pick one that's got all 6 strings in it. That's it. One thing we talked about was multiple G's, and it turned out you already had done this in Blackbird, you just weren't playing the high note. And it's like, because there's all these chords where you need to get between C and G really quickly, so there we are. So there's other G, that's one of the chords we learned. But right now, why don't you just play E major, and we're going to talk about right hand. So yeah, wider range. We talked about how you're going to swing your arm around the instrument like this rather than out in front of it, which is what everyone does at first to steady it, and that causes this chop, 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 well, I'll just use my hand thing. So here's us, we're around there, which actually puts us way over the sound hole, and there's a little bit of wrist, but it's mostly arm. There's not a lot of wrist to your off strums. Anyway, the first, and so this wider range of motion is what we're going for. It doesn't, the way the guitar looks really implies I'm going to line my pickup here and do stuff, especially if you're playing a chord like C, where you're meant to hit these strings and down. That's something we're just going to concede we're not good enough at yet, and we're going to hit this E. That sounds kind of awkward, rather than trying to make little precise stabs at it. So we're going to just, there'll come a point where you're going to have to just be able to go the 6th string down, the 2nd and 3rd string up, but for now we're kind of just working on, this is a drum. We're going to move more towards D for the moment, because it's just 4 strings. Although, if you hit D, that didn't sound like the worst thing ever. Even if you hit the 6th string, which is then that sounds that you get some room to breathe. But, so anyway, let me just get myself better here. Cool. So, the first rhythm we're working on, and so I wrote landmarks, kind of map out for yourself, okay, I'm starting about here. And it's going to be like a wind-up. I use the golf swing analogy, where we're trying to graze all the strings with the equal amount of velocity, so you don't have to strum hard to hit all 6 strings, but you do if you're there. That's why everything's probably sounded very... And that's why you switch G's in your hand. So yeah, we get that same, control that we had with your hands. Cool, so there we are, and like that. So before we do anything interesting, just go down, up a few times, kind of troubleshoot it. If your right hand gets tired, you could use open strings theoretically right now and be learning everything we need to. That's why we're just sitting on one chord, so we can focus on your right hand. First rhythm, down on the downbeat. No more. I'm going to do all 4 of them. You understand what we're doing there. So yeah, strum, wind up, stop, and get really good at that. Having done that, now we're going to do down, up, and pick whatever tempo feels like you can actually get it. You could be going super slow here, working on chopping wood for the first time. And before you do it 4, I want you to just do down, up, 2 total times. Getting good at that, stop, what did I do wrong, try it again, and that's going to be our entire process for everything ever. It's going to be trying to stay consciously focused on what we're doing when we're in our memorization of a little section thing, versus switching to the gasping head space, which is the one we would use for I'm going to take this test and forget it forever, whereas we're trying to make long-term memories here. I can't believe when people don't focus on this more when doing my job. Anyway, cool, so there we are. We're chopping wood, and it's that same, so as far as how far down you're going to end up, that's a product of how our strum is, where you're going to end up down here, and then the same process will happen on the way back up. So, the very first thing I had you do was just do down, up, or no rhythm whatsoever. So before you try this, just be sure you've gone down, up at all, no rhythm, and the down, down, downs. Now you're chopping wood. Oh, or tempo might be like at first. Okay, cool. So here's how I'm holding the pick. You were intuitively doing that correctly, so I'm not discussing that too much. Alright, so get really good at that. And now let's get to our process. We don't need to discuss how to go down, 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 down. But when we go with like vamp details over on the back of the page, we're going to emphasize what order you're going to do this in. With each one of these rhythms, you're going to go one. I can go once through this, and it's actually, I've got some facility with it now. Then twice total, and then loop it. So that's you right now, stopping, and doing just down, up, trying to get through it 4 times. Pause, reassess, 8 times. 8 times, pause, reassess, and then loop it over and over. And it's going to be when you get to 3 where we switch to the playing head space rather than a myopic consciously focused. It's like a relief. Cool, so I'm not going to say that about all the subsequent rhythms. It's just implied that is how you're going to go about this. Step 1, arrhythmic, show yourself the dance steps, except these rhythms are easy enough where you're not going to have to think that hard about it and picking it out syncopated. Then incorporating rhythm, doing it once total, and then twice, and then loop. Awesome. So rhythm 3, half 1, half 2, just going down, 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 up, down, up. And so forth. 1, 2, loop. Get really good at that. Smashingly good. You can do it in your sleep, including mistakes and brain farts, which are a different category. Rhythm 4, just have a rest in 1, 1, 3, 4, and let's kind of make our tempo goal here, like. So I'm going, so there's your rhythm 4, kind of purposely making space there. Get really good at that once, twice, a bunch of times. And I want you to be really comfortable with all that stuff before you try the 5th rhythm, which is the upper end of what we're doing right hand wise. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and which is going to be down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up. Anytime it goes jiggy, jiggy, that's going to generally be down, up, down, up. If I'm like boom, jiggy, jiggy, boom, jiggy, playing a waltz, I'm going down, down, up, down, up. Cool. So that's going. Excuse me. And there's actually more subtlety to playing rhythm guitar. I'm just making sure to hit all 6 strings like you can right now. Like if I was playing this, like I'm doing something where I'm just hitting 3 strings, but that's something that I developed the ability to do intuitively over years, as opposed to consciously set out to do it. So first I'm hitting all 6 strings, but there it was. Great, so get sick at that. And now we are going to try to apply what you just did to include a chord change. So let's pick something like, let's say you started with E minor instead, or we could simulate your Blackbird situation. Let's start with G, and we're going to go to A minor 7, which is this one. Or let's go G to A minor, actually, final answer. G to A minor, because it's an actual shape change. And A minor is a lot like E, so we've gone directly at that brain fart potentially generating thing that A major, A minor, E major, E minor, thirds. Cool, so there we are. So now you're trying to go once through the rhythm, switch. And this is a new chord change for you to some extent, so I want you to first just go like this over and over again until your brain says, like, I comply. And if we were learning a new chord that was actually like difficult or like some for you, this would be more important. But consciously focused, noticing your tendencies and fixing it. Like whatever. If you could, let's say for instance that you ended up with your index finger one string up too high. The next time, do anything but that. If you tore the instrument in half, really just like staying versus like I hope I get it, I hope I get it, which is everyone's natural tendency. And this would be more important when we're doing more elaborate things.
Just try not to repeat my mistakes twice in a row.
Yeah, or just this is the part where we just go over the next steps. If I'm going to be a person who executes this hand movement. If you find yourself doing chords this then that, like a way to trick yourself into doing it the other way is, or doing it halves all at once. Like with G, it'll probably be your natural inclination to go these then this. Make yourself do it this then those. And a lot of these chords, like D, people tend to go this then that. Even though you already know D, you can trick yourself by doing that. I've never heard anyone else suggest that, so go team. Cool. So, but really, it seems like left hand changes your way on the hind learning curve for especially rusty. So if you're not consciously doing this, there's a strum when we change between chords that where we hit the open strings, like totally elaborate.
Well, I know if I'm doing that.
You are
Okay,
like you're going like there was actually one of those in there. The last strum was like, and that's just sorry. So you have 2 split seconds. So now, whichever of them you want to use, if you want to use, let's decide you're going to use 3, 4, or 5. 3, 4, and 5 ideally. On the very last strum, you would be departing on your way to A minor, and the section that I'd want you to work on, if I was rhythm 3, would be like the song ends there until you actually do that chord change. And then if there was another chord, so there is our process for learning chord changes. You do the left-hand part, painstaking, terrible 10 minutes, and then pretend the song ends at the first transition.
Right.
And then it's so much more fun to just start at the beginning then, but let's say we're playing like Future, I have like 52 chords in there or whatever. After I would want you to literally go the first 2 chords and then pretend the first chord didn't exist in the song and just work on the new transition. Dance steps, and then we dance and play the whole thing. That's really a bummer. It's so much more fun to play the whole thing. But anyway, right now we're just like, I'm gonna leave you to like your own devices here, and also totally play the stuff that you did with your fingers. Whatever I pick up my guitar and I play rhythm stuff. The first thing you played for me, start with flat maybe, but using your pleasure instead and thinking about the things that we are. So we just covered the stuff on this strummy page where I wrote a 1 in pen. Cool. So on the back, we've got our stereo instructions for learning stuff. Then we talked about finger picking, which the only thing I wrote on the page was your thumb is going to be parallel to the bass strings, and we want this juxtaposition where if I was on adjacent strings with my thumb and index, I'd be able to move my index. What everybody's natural inclination is at first is to be like that. Because putting your thumb there makes it, you can see the rest of your fingers. We're going to be in this juxtaposition where we can't. Your fingers will naturally curl up. We want to associate these melody note, not bass note, but melody note finger motions with away from the instrument. A lot of has some note to it, but we're trying to just hover over the strings with really the smallest range of motion possible, and that's why, not this way, but this way. Cool, so here are some things I wrote on the page. It's just like, okay. Like playing an REM, everybody hurts. If you literally wanted to play it, it would be D and G. Well, we're doing all 6 strings. And I mean same process. Do it once till that actually, once, reset, until you're like, that has become easy. Twice, reset, applying the same process. really easy to just want to loop it over and over. We're just adding this additional step where you make it into a grocery list and learn the dance steps so you can dance. Bears repeating. Cool, so that, and do the same thing for G. Theoretically, you could be open strings right now. We're focused on this. And just make sure your your right hand's not reverting back to that. If your left hand has become so distracting that you find yourself doing that, symbol up what you're doing on your left hand to even no strings whatsoever. Cool, so that was the first rhythm I wrote. I wrote it for E major and then G. I was just picking arbitrary chords. And then I suggested for C, where your thumb will lead to here naturally, that we went like, just the same thing, or just rolling through one string at a time. Cool. So yeah, just awesome. Then what I wrote for this A minor chord, which is this, not this, is going 2 notes. And there we're hitting non-adjacent. So 2 notes and then non-adjacent strings. Yeah, so D's, this, great, all 4 fingers. So there's that one. Stop and get really smashly good at it. And if you want, try to combine these in some way, whatever works. Cool, but mainly, so you're just sick at those rhythms, playing one chord warning stuff before we try Blackbird, where, we noticed that you're actually doing this G, but we want you to hear in case you want to play a different rhythm, which is what he does in the song. We talked about how that's like a G chord, G5, but just that portion of it. Cool. And we have our... the whole song, any of those are these, thumb, index, these. These, thumb, index, these. Could be a little sonically deceptive. It happens later. The whole song's bing bong or bing diggy ding. Great, so high end of what you're doing is getting as far through Blackbird as you want, but I totally don't care about you transitioning in tempo. Here. If it's just easy and whatever, great, but that would probably spending some time being like this to this, just on its own without trying to pick your pattern. So get good at playing as much Blackbird as you need to. And then implied in this, 3, what I'm writing on the back of the page, is play anything. And just be really minded about it, though, paying attention, come up with your own picking patterns, whatever you want to do. If you complete this stuff and you want to do more, that's what's up. Good times. Well done.